work-life balance, corporate coaching, and demystifying complex concepts that impact people's lives. He has worked with many sectors in Jamaica and across the Caribbean, North America, South America, and Europe. This noted columnist, TV and talk show host, holds a postdoctoral fellowship from Educational Testing Service, Princeton, New Jersey, a PhD and MSc from Rutgers University, and a Bachelor of Arts with honors from City College of New York. A proud Fortis man of Kingston College, he was recognized by the Jamaica Employees Federation for leadership in innovative workplace practices. He is included in Peter Ferguson's publication, Change Makers, as one of the 101 men who have helped to define modern day Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Dr. Leahcim Semaj, who will take over this session.
Good morning. Indeed, my pleasure to be part of this wonderful gathering. It's very important for us to take time out, to say, there's a wonderful saying that if you have 6 days to chop a tree down, you take the first 5 to sharpen the axe. And this is what we're doing here today, sharpening the axe. Also, it's good to remember, especially gentlemen present. We know we have some ladies here, but it's about the men, that the self-care is not selfish. We really need to take some time to really reflect on what makes you strong and what makes you even better. So we need to definitely do that. I'm going to share my screen from time to time, and so that we can all be on the same page, and the ideas that we are presenting are ones that you can see and you can hear, and we can reflect on the things at hand. My theme, mental strength, your psychological well-being. It's important that we look at these things because, look, and we take responsibility and take credit for them. A lot of great thinkers have been reminding us of this. Socrates, Plato. It goes back and back, Lao Tzu, to a mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Steve Maraboli, the universe doesn't give you what you ask for with your thoughts, it gives you what you demand by your actions. That we have been encouraged that there are things that we have to do. We go even deeper, Confucius, the will to win, to succeed. Your potential, it is what opens the door to personal excellence. Now, I have sort of summarized this as the physics of life. Life is more often a series of, comes here as a series of sine waves. You know, the sine waves are up and down and up and down. But your challenge, my brothers and sisters, is to convert sine waves into positive linear trends. You know, it's important that just this very notion, life is going to go up and down and up and down, but you know what a positive linear trend is, it takes you all the way up. That's what this thing, mental strength, is all about, because especially coming out of the pandemic, what we have had to deal with, how do we do that? Now, it's important for us to recognize that even though the names that we have identified have not been of our cultural heritage, but guess what? The first time the world saw this, man, know thyself, was our African ancestors. That whole notion, to thine own self be true. Beginning of wisdom is self-understanding. The symbolism of a serpent in each hand. One is the knowledge of self, and the other, the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the universe. Almost every culture has drawn on what came out of ancient Egyptian culture. And it is now a universal thing. Knowledge of self is the beginning of wisdom. What I've come to understand, folks, the body is the lowest level. But we connect to the universe via mind and spirit. And I'm going to take a few minutes and to articulate how we do this. How we do this to get this mental strength. First of all, you are the programmer. Do you accept that? Your brain is merely the hardware. Your mind is the software and your life is the printout. Do you accept the responsibility? Mind controls body. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Feelings are the language of the body. So that we have good things to work with. The body, you cleanse and nourish it. The mind, you quiet and focus it. But then you renew and awaken your spirit. And these are things that we can do. But here's the most wonderful thing that sometimes we don't take full credit for. What we now know, brothers and sisters, one, we have a natural ability to change the brain and the body by thought alone. Two, our thoughts are more real than anything else and can change who we are from brain cell to gene. We have that capacity. Now, we're aware of that. That we are not just lumps of clay here. Our mind and our thoughts are the most powerful tool we have to work with. That we have the capacity to change things at every level, that we can make these things happen. How do we do this? And it's important that we practice this. Now, we're not just talking philosophy. The eminent physicist and thinker, Albert Einstein, says that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is physics. This is physics. And remember that thought is what triggers it. Everything is energy. Your thought begins it. Your emotions amplify it. Your actions increase the momentum. It begins with the thought, the mind. You have the capacity to make these things happen. But Thoreau reminds us that it's not what you look at that matters. It's actually what you see. What are you seeing around you? Do you focus on what you want? Worrying is when you pray for things that you don't want, huh? But we can make things happen. There's a tool called meditation, where the mind and body are rewired and relearning is taking place. We have a tool that we can work with. We're part of a vast invisible field of energy which contains all possible reality, infinite potentials. It responds to your thoughts and your feelings just by thinking it. Meditation is a means to move beyond your analytical mind so you can access the subconscious mind. That's where your bad habits and behaviors are, and you want to change them. Meditation opens the door between the conscious and the subconscious. If you want a new outcome, we have to break the habit of being your old self and reinvent yourself. I do this every day. You start the morning with a meditation to set the agenda. You end the day with another meditation. Again, Einstein reminds us that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is but a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We have to get back there if we want to make these things happen. Now, the research is clear. There's a notion you can change the brain and body by thought alone. Your thoughts are the most powerful things that you work with. So guess what? All that I need, I ask the universe. I put it out there. All that you need, you ask the universe. There's an ultimate communication tool that we have. Prayer is you talking to the universe. But meditation, the other part of the conversation, you listen for the answers. and it comes back to you. Silence is the language of God, says Rumi. All else is poor translation. So that's why in 1 Samuel 3 verse 9 it says, speak, Lord, thy servant hear it. How are you doing that? Rumi also says, I've been a seeker, and I still am, but I've stopped asking the books and the stars. I start listening to the teachings of my soul. Yes, in silence and meditation, wisdom finds you. How easy it is. The power of the mind, folks. That's what we have to work with. Do you acknowledge the power of the mind? Anything you metabolize transform you. We're not just talking about eating. Yes, eating, drinking, but also what you listen to. You gotta be very careful what you put into.
Dr. Semaj, you're muted.
Great.
Please unmute.
Good. Our bodies are capable of anything. It's only your mind you have to convince. It is this simple. Just your mind you have to convince that you can make this happen. The mind rules. The body does not create the mind. It's the mind that creates the body. That's where we operate. Now, folks, you're all familiar with the placebo effect. It's something that we take too lightly. Do you understand that up to 90% of every drug that is tested, anything from 10% to 90% efficacy can be demonstrated by the placebo effect? Someone who takes the sugar pill, something with no chemical impact, what this tells us is that we have the ability to heal ourselves. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, Henry Ford has said, you are right. Your thought is the most powerful tool. Yes, mind heals body. I strongly advise people to believe the diagnosis, no matter what the doctor tells you. Believe it, but do not take the prognosis seriously. Why? Belief tends to determine outcome. The mind, what you do with your thoughts. Do you know that the trillions of cells of your body are constantly eavesdropping on your thoughts and your emotion? Very simple. You're walking and a dog jumps out at you. In that instant, what happens to your body? The adrenaline, the fear, the anger, the anguish, everything is triggered immediately. Every cell in your body responds immediately. It happens 24 hours a day. So what do we say? Faith it until you can make it. Align your mind with the energy that is in the universe. Yes, just by thinking. Nelson Mandela says there's no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one that you are capable of living. Every one of us has this potential to align ourselves with the unlimited potential of there is. That's how we do it. So what do we do? Define yourself by your vision of the future. If not, you will be defined by your memories of the past. Because all we have is now. This minute, this day, this time. The future is a vision that we are here to create with our mind. The memories of the past, you get over them. We move on. So I recommend a 5-3-2 formation. 50% of your time is spent shaping the future. 30% perfecting the present. Only 20% reviewing the past. Look, you can't safely go forward if you're spending all your time looking through the rearview mirror. That's why the rearview mirror is small and the windshield is large. Are you looking to the future? Are you using your mind to conceptualize and to create the direction you're going to? How do we do this? The law of attraction. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create, said the Buddha. The law of attraction is real. It works. There's a science behind the law of attraction. We attract into our lives anything that we give attention to, whether it's positive or negative. The mind does not distinguish between real or imagined. So if you keep, boy, not now go on, you know, not now go on, you know, not now go on, you know, guess what? The mind interprets that to mean, oh, in the one, unfair go on, that's my talk about that all the time. The mind does not distinguish between the nuances. You attract what you give attention to. The word is one of the most powerful tools we have, because that's how we make the transition from mind to action. Words come in between. Knives and guns leave traces. Slaps and punches leave bruises. Bombs shake buildings and streets and leave empty spaces. But the word can strike without ever leaving the pages. Driven by the healthy mind, the word is unequal with the power of creation. The ignorant can be informed, lives can be transformed, and impossible performed. I know you're all familiar, folks, with the whole concept of self-fulfilling prophecy, where you talk something into being. Every one of us are what we are because of a teacher who saw more in us than we saw in ourselves and talked it into us. Every single one of us. Self-fulfilling prophecy, the power of the word. Again, there's a biology to this. Within the brain, there's a structure called the reticular activating system. You know what it does? Anything your mind says is important to you, its role is either to bring it to you or you to it. Just think about a mother in the living room with her some friends talking, and her baby in the bedroom is crying. Nobody else hears the baby but her, because her mind picks up on it. Nobody else hears it. There's a car show later on in the proceedings. Anybody who's really into cars, you're in a conference, there's a Evolution 7 passing outside. You hear it. Just the sound of that exhaust. You know there's an ever just passing. It happens at so many levels. Your mind brings something to you. Why? You deem it important. But if you focus on crosses, if you focus on worries, you focus on trouble, the mind will serve to either bring it to you or you to it. Again, we're bridging the gap between biology and neurology and psychology. We also have a tool called cognitive reappraisal. Cognitive reappraisal. There's a structure in the brain called the amygdala. What does it do? You can reset negative situations by changing the meaning and the events with the words you use. You realize how we used to use things like the problems we're having and we change it to challenges. That makes a lot of sense, you know. When you change the meaning, you change the word, the mind processes it very differently. The amygdala is the area of the brain that's associated with fear and anxiety. It immediately responds with motivation and energy and now energizes you. So when you tell yourself, oh, you can't do it, we can't do it, we can't go on, the amygdala just says, look, you're right. But if you change and say, listen, man, I got this one. I got this one. I can get it. The motivation and the energy, the purpose of that structure in the brain trips in to get it done. So when we talk about the mental energies that we can, yes, we can do it. I have a little technique I call asking questions for the universe. Asking questions for the universe. Anything that concerns me or troubles me, I wouldn't even say the word worry because worry is not part of my vocabulary. What I do, I just say, I am asking a question from the universe. I'm asking a question and I put it in my meditation and I release it, guess what happens? Sometimes you get more than answers. Sometimes you get unimagined solutions to the point of cosmic reorganization. I have proven this time and time and time again. Just phrase it and leave it as a question you have for the universe. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Phrase it. The human spirit is eternally resilient. You know the Jamaican proverb, when trouble take you, pick the shot fit you. But we're also told in dark times the eyes begin to see because we make the natural adjustment. Huh? I warn you, however, again, the beginning of the day and the end of the day are the two most critical spaces where we get these mental forces to set the agenda. I never watch no news or no movies or anything that is too disturbing before I go to bed at night. Job 33:15-16 says, look, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. Do you understand what happens to your thoughts at night when it is the role of the mind to do the processing? Remember I said that brain is what? Hardware. Mind is what? Software. And who are you? The programmer. Now I lay me down to sleep. So, as we started this discourse, yes, we have a natural ability to change the brain and the body by thought alone. As a man thinketh, so is he. Our thoughts are more real than anything else and can change who we are from brain cell to gene. We have that capacity. There are times that we do not give ourselves full credit for the capability. So yes, when we are in troubled times such as these, it is the mental forces. Mental health is something that you actively demand, you actively live, because you have the capacity. If you forget everything that we talked about here, just remember that the hardware is what the brain provides, but the software is what the mind provides. And you are the programmer. What are the tools of your programming? Your thoughts and your emotions. Because 24 hours a day, every cell in your body is eavesdropping, asking, waiting for instructions from your thoughts and your emotions. Too many times we put ourselves in situations that we don't really want to be in because we focus on the negative. We focus on what not happening, what could have happened. Do you realize that this notion about doing something actively, in every instant in the Bible where Jesus is credited with a miracle, you go back and look at the words. Every time the words can be translated into do something. Do something. It don't matter what the person was previously doing, you're asked to do something regarding that which you desire. Lazarus, come forth. Zacchaeus, come down. Huh? The boy with the troubled spirit, bring the boy here to me. The feeding of the 5,000, let the people sit in groups of 50. Huh? The wine was finished, fill the jars with water. Every single time, do something. So I'm saying this, you begin with a thought, you energize it with your emotions, because the thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotion, the language of the body. And the body responds. Your words you can talk it into being. Believe the diagnosis, but not the prognosis. I have tested this so many times. So no matter what the condition is, yes, I hear the diagnosis, that's the thank you very much. No, prognosis is a statistical analysis, which says on the average, 90% of people, this happens to them and 20% and so on. No, but I got it from here. Because we have the capacity and the ability to transform, because we are the programmers. We accept that responsibility. And guess what? If you don't accept the responsibility of being the programmer of your mind, circumstances and other people will now start the programming and take that responsibility from you. So times like these call for us to really, really do all the things possible to strengthen our minds. Your physical health, your physical strength can fail you. Those are limited functions. But the mental and the mind has unlimited potential, unlimited capacity. Gentlemen, ladies, we go from strength to strength. We can make it happen. This nation, the school system, our students, our family, our neighbors, our nation depend upon us. Go for it. Thank you very much.
Well, if we were in an physical space, I'm sure we would have been hearing rousing rounds of applause. Thank you so much, Dr. Semaj. At this time, I'm just going to give you a few minutes if anybody wants to ask any question. We're getting the comments, profound words. People are really being impacted, and that is what we want today. It's very intense. We're getting lots of commendations. Dr. Semaj, does anybody have a question? Okay, so Hewitt Johnson, his hand is up. Mr. Johnson, just go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Well done, Dr. Semaj. Dr. Semaj, as usual, every time I listen to you, there's a great deal of motivation. My question is, where in the mix of things does a plan, a program of reaction to something that may happen? For example, I would plan that in case I'm in my house and someone comes in, I plan to do this, that, and that. What percentage in your studies, what percentage of that will definitely happen when what I'm talking about happens?
Well, you know, the notion that, you know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, clear, self-preservation is the first law of nature. So that, yes, we have a responsibility. We have the mental capacity to think what could happen, and we put things in place to either prevent or to transform. You know, there's a wonderful book, you know, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And he said that you should not concern yourself about the thief coming or not coming. You should make your position unassailable. So yes, we have the mental capacity. You know, I'm so concerned in Jamaica that we who are the bright ones, we who are the educated ones, we who are the ones who study, and we allow the criminal elements to run rings around us, because guess what? They are more committed to their cause than we are to ours. They are committed to their objectives. I posted something in social media yesterday that yes, the government and the police announce their crime plan, but the criminals activate their crime plan.
Really?
So I'm saying that yes, we don't sit in our house and wish and hope that, boy, I hope this don't happen and I hope that don't happen. We have the mental capacity to put things in place to either one, prevent it from happening, or in the event that it happened, make the person regret that they even thought it. We have that capacity, my brother. So it's not wishing and hoping. Nothing what I say we don't wish and hope. No, no. When I ask the universe for answers, I get solutions. And then my job is to do something. In every instance, Jesus said, do something. Not sit and wish and hope. Do something.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for your question. Thank you so much for Dr. Semaj. Indeed, we must begin. The important is the beginning and the ending of our day. What we begin with will shape our day, and what we end with will shape our night. Thank you so much. Really impressed. Beware of the last thoughts before we go to bed. Men, the thoughts that we take to bed are very important, because as a man thinketh, so is he. The brain is the hardware, the mind is the software. But guess what? You are the programmer. Thank you so much. Very powerful indeed, Dr. Semaj. We are really empowered. And of course, I'm sure out of this conference today, we will see greater things for men in education. Thank you so much, sir, on behalf of the JTA. Our next session, Mr. Rafi.